Welcome to my channel, IAS Preparation Part 1. Today's topic is Ancient India, Customs and Practices. About Ancient India. Who were the early people who lived in India? What were the customs and practices? The earliest people who lived in India were hunters and gatherers. Hunting and gathering gave a way to settle lifestyle when people learned agriculture. Villages developed. Indians were skilled enough to plan and build cities. This led to civilizations like Indus Valley Civilization. As time progressed, people organized and set up large kingdoms with central administrations. The next slide is about what, where, how, and when the ancient practices has taken place. Narmada, the earliest people who lived here were skilled gatherers. They knew about vast wealth of plants in the surrounding forests and collected roots and fruits for food, also hunted animals. Suleiman and Kitar Hills. Current Sindh, where women and men first began to grow crops such as wheat and barley about 8,000 years ago. Dairy animals also were one of the source of their food. Next, Garo Hills and Vindhya, where agriculture developed, rice was first grown to north of Vindhyas. In this, next, 4,700 years ago, some of the earliest cities flourished on the banks. Then, Nasan, a Ganga tributary. Magadha rulers were very powerful and set up a large kingdom. Thereby, on the trial of the earliest people, factory sites, places where the stone were found and where people were made tools are known as factory sites. Habitation come factory, sometimes people lived here for longer periods. Kernel sites, current AP, traces of ash have been found here. This suggests that people were familiar with the use of fire. Paleolithic importance of the finding of tools. Their period extends from 2 billion years ago to about 12,000 years ago. A long period is divided into lower, middle, and upper Paleolithic. This long period covers 99% of human history. Metallistic environmental changes 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago. Stone tools are generally tiny and are called microliths. Microliths are probably stuck into handles of bone or wood to make tools such as saw and sickles, and at the same time older tools varieties continue to be used. Ostrich in India. Paleolithic period, large quantities of shell were found in the Pantin in Maharashtra. Designs were engraved in some of the pieces, from gathering to growing foods. So therefore, if you can see in this map, the Indian map, where they have tried to protect the how previously gathering and growing food were conducted. Thereby, the climate of the world was changing, and so were the plant and animals that people used to use as food. They look after plant and also grow. Farmers and the first animal to be tamed were the wild ancestor of the dog. Later, relatively gentle animals to come near the camps where they lived as sheep, goats, cattle, protect their animals from wild attacks. They were known as herders. Domestication, which gradually progressed, began about 12,000 years ago. Settled life in Brozagam in present-day Kashmir, people built pit houses were dug into the ground, which led steps leading into them. They were made We have provided shelter in cold weather. Stone tools from sites were different from the earlier Paleolithic tools, and this is why they are called Neolithic. Many kinds of the earthen pots have been found. However, still places got hunters and gatherers. In some cases, people tried to combine these activities. Customs and practices. Many farmers and herders lived in groups called tribes. Women do most of the agricultural work, including preparing the ground etc. Children often look after the plants, driving away animals. Some men are regarded as leaders. May be old and experienced or be a young, brave warriors or priests. Tribes have rich and unique culture tradition, have their own goddesses and gods. The Meriga site, located near the Bolan Pass, current Balochistan, most important routes into Iran. One of the earliest villages that were known about. Women and men learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats. The early evacuations found were of wild animals, deer and pigs, suggesting that they were hunters. But later level evacuation found bones of sheep and goat, which make them herders. So first Megara were hunters, then they become herders. Remains of the square or rectangular bow houses, the belief that there was some form of life after death and was visible in their burial grounds fonts. Daloji Harding. This site were on the hills near the Brahmaputra Valley. Stone tools, including mortars and pistols, have been found, indicating that they were agriculturists. Judges, a stone that has been brought from China. Tools made of fossil wood were in use. Thank you. Kindly subscribe to my channel for future videos.